Welcome to our December YouTube hop. This hop, we are focused on frames. So this could be how you make frames, how to frame your photos, or in my case today, how I can use embroidery hoops as frames. I will be using three 3-inch embroidery hoops and turning them into little shakers, which will go behind my photos. And to do this, I'm starting by taking apart the embroidery hoop, so there's two pieces, and gluing a piece of patterned paper onto the smaller inside hoop. And this part will be the back of my shaker. I think this is a really cool technique that could be used in a lot of different ways. You could use this as a bigger hoop, so you could use like a 6-inch or even a 12-inch embroidery hoop to do this. And then you could use bigger photos as well. I'm using 2-inch photos, so the 3-inch hoop works fine with me. And now I am filling it with a mix of different sequins. Usually in my shaker pages I like to also add glitter, but because the mesh that I'm going to cover over this has little holes through it, I think it's better to just keep with sequins and beads. So I grabbed sequins from all different shades of green and a little bit of silver. And this is mesh or tulle that I'm using to hold all of it in place. So this was a pretty simple little frame to make that I think really stands out. I know I love adding shaker pages to pretty much anything. I think it makes it that much more interactive and cool. I'll add shakers onto cards or scrapbook pages, and this is just another way how to do it. Now I am gluing this netting onto the back and using a scrap piece of paper to make sure it stays there and secures it. This is also to make it easier when I am moving this around and trying to place it on my page. I think it's a good extra step to make sure your netting isn't going anywhere and to make it easier when you're trying to glue this onto your actual scrapbook page. If you haven't joined us on one of our YouTube hops before, we have them at the beginning of each month, and if you leave a comment on this video as well as the 3 other videos that are in this hop, you are entered to win a $10 ACOT gift card. So there will be a lot of different inspiration along the way, and you can see some cool videos from our design teams and possibly win a gift card. So make sure you check out those other videos and don't forget to leave a comment. I'll have links to all of the other videos in the hop in the description below, as well as links to all of the products that I'm using today. To make the background, I am using watercolor paper, and then I misted it with some different sprays that I had in the right colors. I'm trying to keep to like a light green and a light blue color scheme. And I also use some silver sprays in there as well. This is one of my favorite ways to make a background because it's unique, it's easy, and I think it's just really cool. While I am letting my background dry a little bit, I am adding some ribbons and twine onto my embroidery hoops. I think this makes them look a little bit like Christmas ornaments, and it adds a fun pop of color to it, and it makes it look more finished as well. Once this step is complete, it is time to start adding them onto the page and seeing how I would like the layout to be. These are the photos that I'm using of when we went and got our Christmas tree this year, and I backed them with a little bit of chipboard so they wouldn't bend, and some patterned paper as well. And now I am just gluing them to the frame. Most of the glue is on the embroidery hoop part, and I added a little bit on the mesh part as well. If you do this, make sure you don't move around the sequins until the photos on the mesh have completely dried. Otherwise you can get sequins just stuck up behind your photo, which isn't what you want. Now I'm using some rub-ons from 49 in Market. This is from their Vintage Artistry Peace and Joy collection. I really like using these rub-ons. I think it looks a little bit like mixed media and kind of like something I would not be able to just easily transfer on, which I think is super cool. And also with these rub-ons is what I used as my title. If you haven't tried these rub-ons, I really recommend it. There's a lot of different kinds, and I just think they add a lot to a page. And now it is time to glue on my frames. I was first just going to glue on the frame part, but then I was thinking about how when I put this in the page protector, how the photos would likely be bent around the corners where they're sticking off the frame. So that's where I decided to use some cherry foam dots to make like a little tower of dots so that the corners of my photos would not bend. And it actually worked pretty well. I layered up about 7 dots in the corners so they won't bend, and I have put it in my page protector and it worked perfectly fine. I also think that adding the chipboard and pattern paper behind these photos helped that as well. And after I have my frames on, I thought it needed a little bit extra something. I was debating if I wanted to add some of the sequins around that I used inside of the hoops, but then I thought of these art pebbles, and I thought that was the perfect finishing touch. So I scattered some of these art pebbles, then just glued them on with some clear glue, and that was it for this page. Thanks for hopping along on this YouTube hop. Make sure to check out the other videos, and don't forget to leave your comment to be entered to win a $10 ACAT gift card. Thanks for watching.